Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And today's message is mainly for people who are in high school and college, but it can and often will be applicable to people all across the board, okay? So, my overall goal and intention with this video is to give you some insight as to, what being a working adult is like and what that looks like in terms of the time and energy you have for the rest of your life, okay? I remember when I was in high school and college, obviously you're young and you don't really know what you're doing. But all you know is that at one point you need to make money and you need to have a job. What you may not realize is that, especially if you've never had a job before, that for the most part, work is going to consume 8 hours of your day, technically speaking, but in general, your job, what you do to make money, is going to dominate your life. Okay, what I mean by that is, it's gonna take up most of your time, and because of that, the main message of this video is to really not just the money, okay? Don't just take the money you make into account, but take into account the energy that your job is either going to take from you or supply to you, okay? So I'll give you an example from my own life, all right? So I've worked a handful of jobs, right? I've worked at a Chinese restaurant. I've worked at elementary schools and middle schools. I've worked DoorDash, right? And now I'm a life coach, right? So I guess it's only four. I mean, I've had another job. I forget what it was. But those are my main jobs, right? I was fortunate enough to discover that life coaching was my passion, is my passion. And, now I'm doing something with that. But you know, take for example a Chinese restaurant, right? That's a very classic 9 to 5 working wage, working man's job. And I only work part time. We're talking like maybe 20 hours a week. But you combine my commute, which was about an hour long, and the fact that I didn't really like the job. I got paid decently well too, guys. I think I got paid like, I want to say like $20 an hour. Um, Money was cool, but I hated the work. I hated the work. I didn't like the environment. My coworkers were chill, but just the job itself wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. I didn't care about it. I could give two F's about working at a restaurant and being a part of a restaurant business. Um, and so what my days looked like was like when I was working, first of all, I dreaded anytime I had work in my schedule, right? It's like, oh God, I gotta do this. So right then and there, just that energy alone, like, oh God, I don't want to fucking, is a big, big downer, right? Huge, huge downer. So my tip to you is really to consider the energy that your job either gives you or takes away from you. And the reason is because if your job takes too much of your energy, not just in terms of the time you put in, but just the overall way that the energy of your job dominates your life in a negative way, that's going to impact your ability and your energy for the rest of your life, right? A common thing I saw with myself and other people who are adults is like, man, you know, how do I balance the rest of my life? How do I have time for anything else in my life? My God, my laundry always needs to get done. I always have dishes to wash. Oh, by the way, I don't even want to work out, right? Oh, and by the way, I'm eating like shit because of the stress that my job gives me on a day-to-day basis. Oh, and I'm also just gonna smoke weed because that's the only thing that really kind of gets me up uh gets me up, right? Um, and so let me continue with my example. So I work DoorDash, right? Like, okay, there's more freedom there. I'm my own boss. Like, I can wear whatever clothes I want. I don't have to deal with too many people I don't like. But the money wasn't enough, right? And not only that, again with the Chinese restaurant, I hated the work. It's like, man, really? Like, I remember a quick story. So my last delivery as a DoorDasher. Um, I got this massive order from a company that was having like a company wide meeting. It was like $1,000 order from a restaurant called BJ's, and the tip I got. First of all, that delivery took about an hour, right? I had to wait. I had to load the car. My Prius was filled to the brim with food. And when I finally completed the delivery, I got a $300 tip. And as a food deliverer, that's like the epitome of what you want to have happen, right? Like, oh God, I delivered food. I barely did any fucking work and I got a 300 bucks. That's, you know. And the thing was, I was happy, right? I was over the moon. Yes, yes, yes. I was happy for like 35 seconds. And then I was hit with the same lack of joy, lack of fulfillment, and lack of purpose that working a DoorDash job had for me, right? Like the reality is, same with the Chinese restaurant. Like I don't really want to be doing this. This doesn't bring me a sense of meaning. This doesn't bring me a sense of purpose. Yes, it makes me money, which is great and important, but I needed more. I was looking for more. And so the energy still was kind of like wasn't really giving me energy. It was giving me money, but it was taking more than it was giving, right? So move on to the school to my job at the schools, okay? I was getting paid really great, guys. $35, $40 an hour. And the work was required effort and you do need a lot of skills for this job, right? It wasn't just some cookie cutter do whatever job. But in general, it was pretty easy for me. Um, and I was working with kids and I was making a difference and I was getting paid well and I was around kids all day, laughing, playing. Um, but it was still draining, right? This was my first real full-time job, right? I had to first of all, I had to wake up at like 5:45 just to do a bunch of commuting to get to my job at around 8, right? And I had to put all my attention on children all day long, barely enough for myself. Um, really having to manage energy of children, which is a lot if you've either worked with children or have kids or have, you babysit. And then by the time I get home at 6 p.m., I'm fucking dead tired. All I have energy for is really to just lay in bed and recharge. So that again, I don't have much time for the rest of my life. And then the weekend comes, and what do you think I want to do on the weekend? Do you think I want to be productive and get things done? Of course I do, like conceptually, but energetically, I want some time to my goddamn self, right? Um, because I don't get any during the week with work. Okay, now fast forward to what my job is like now. I get to work for myself, which is a plus. I make decent money, which is a plus, and I do something that I love and that I'm good at, right? And I have time flexibility, I have energy flexibility, emotional flexibility. I work from home, right? And because of that, I have a surplus of energy, right? This job gives me not just money, but it gives me more time back. It gives me more energy. It raises my emotion. It gives me a sense of deep meaning. And what this allows me to do is function at a high level uh, in my entire life. It brings me energy. It brings me more, right? And so when you're thinking of jobs you want to have, don't just think about the money. Think about the lifestyle that you're able to live or not live. Think of the people you're going to be working with or not working with. Think of the mission of this company or this job, right? These are all important factors to consider. But overall, what you want to really think about is the energy, right? Does the situation of your job bring more to your life? Does it allow you to live more fully, or does it take away? Okay. And so obviously one of the main factors you're going to have to consider is money, because we all need to make money, but it's not the most important factor. And what you want to do is not settle. Do not settle for a job just because it pays you well, right? I'm telling you, you're only going to be able to work that for so long. And here's the thing, the more roots you place in a certain job, the longer you stay at a certain job, the harder it's going to be to get yourself out of it, right? Because if I had stayed at this school job for, let's say, 10 years, oh my God, it's making me good money. I've centered my life around that paycheck. But that's 10 years that's 10 years I didn't put into life coaching, into YouTube, into learning how to build business, learning how to make sales, not writing my first book, right? So I'm 10 years behind. And then you have these thoughts, oh God, is it worth it? I have to leave this good paying job because, oh God. And so something you want to get in front of if you're in high school and college or young adult is take care of the money, like consider the type of money you want, consider the time you want, consider the people you want to work with, consider your energy flexibility, schedule flexibility, and stay open to possibility and do not settle. Okay. So I know that was a lot, but it's definitely something just having your archives as you're growing up, you know? Um, and because just as a final piece, kind of unrelated, like, you know, man, over the span of 10, 15 years, I watched so much self-help, read so many books, watched so many videos, attended so many seminars. And what ended up happening was over time, something would click, right? Something that I learned, say, 10 years ago would then become relevant and applicable today. And so just store this information in the back of your mind and let it support you however it supports you in the current day. Don't stress too much about having to figure it all out right now, but do have a sense of intention around not just the type of the money you want to make, but also the energy you want to have and the time freedom, the clothes you want to wear. Like seriously, y'all. Because what I want for everyone is to feel like you're living a life that you like, right? And if your job is going to take a majority of your life other than you sleeping, right? Then it ought to be a highly fulfilling, highly rewarding experience. Highly, highly, highly. That's what you deserve, right? Because you're gonna die one day, and and you can't wait till you retire to all of a sudden have a sense of freedom and joy and alignment in your life. So the sooner and the more intentionality you have with having a job that meets all of your needs, as many of them as they can handle, the happier you're gonna be, the more energy you're gonna have, and just the better life you're going to live. All right, so that's it. Hopefully this video served you well. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Shout out Kobe. Shout out me. Shout out Dodger. Shout out Chakra. Shout out Cody Paxi. Hiking Adventure Company. Shout out you. Shout out me. Love you guys. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.